in our family. Thank you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We have the honorable. Why they call you honorable?
Well, you know, when you're elected official, you become honorable.
No, you don't.
Well, that's what I is. I don't know about the rest.
They be stealing and lying.
Oh my goodness.
Now I gotta call that honorable. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You can call me, you know,
the honorable till they get caught up in the sun.
Yeah, well, and then they should take it away. That's right.
Okay, so it's like innocent until proven guilty, honorable until proven otherwise.
Absolutely. Just like, you know, you carry your family name, Glover, right? And, you know, I carry mine, and my father don't play. You know, he said, "I'll disown you, son. You walk out that door, you walk out with me."
You tell your kids that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's right.
Don't mess up the family name.
No, that's what we got.
You will not get invited to Thanksgiving.
That's right. Well, yeah, that's true. So, you know, one thing we always do, we will feed them, right?
Even if they mess up the family name?
You not gonna feed them, Donnie?
Yeah, I guess you gotta feed them.
Yeah, you gotta feed them. Because if you don't feed them, then it's gonna be real bad. They're gonna go out and somebody else gonna feed them some bad stuff. Yeah. You know, it's like the prodigal son and daughter, right? The prodigal son and daughter that goes out in the world and then they run back home. They're like, oh my gosh.
I didn't know I had it so good.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And
so congratulations again on your new venture.
Yes, sir. We back on channel 2. We were there some time ago, Frank and I. Special thank you to Frank Johnson, also Rondi Griffin. It can get expensive, and you have to have supporters and sponsors to keep it going.
Yeah.
Not a cheap venture.
Yeah, it's, definitely not at the at that radio station, at that TV station. Excuse me. Yeah, it's nothing cheap.
Hey, how's Eric Adams doing up in your hometown?
Oh my. You know, Eric Adams has been kind of quiet, man. I don't know. You know, been real quiet with that. You know, not too much going on media wise about him. But
there was so much excitement when he first got elected. When we did a Black Wall Street when he was Brooklyn Borough president.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right there, Brooklyn Borough Hall.
Yeah. We're very excited about him going in there as the mayor. But again, you know, you have to understand what that encompassed when you take on that responsibility. And you know, people are finding out more and more about this political way of life, and how Donald Trump is going to show them, how vengeful he is, vindictive he is. I mean, I think Jim Smith, all those allegations have all been dropped.
I see you got a new police commissioner in New York City, Jessica Tisch. Looks like a white lady as
Yeah, I
the
saw that.
NYPD commissioner.
Don't know much about her at all. Don't know much about her at all.
You know, one thing I love about New York City is Columbia University. And I found that there's a place for us at Columbia. I know a young lady she runs a business in Harlem, and she went to Columbia for a business program, and it only opened the door for her to go to another academic institution. But Columbia is top notch. New York City, I believe.
Columbia University is like a they call it one of those Ivy League schools, and doors open tremendously if you are a graduate of that institution.
But if you are a native of New York City, you can go there oftentimes for little or no money, depending on your,
You got your grades and all that, references.
Do we still push grades? Do we still push that at home? All A's, that type thing?
I mean, I do with my grandson. I do. He's an athlete, so they played with Pikesville Wildcats. They went undefeated, and they were national champions this year with 8 and under. And last year they went undefeated, and then they lost to a team they beat during the year, and they were heartbroken. But I just say that to say this: if he can put that effort into that, he can't tell us he can't do that with his academics. So that's what has to happen.
Is he going?
I wasn't an A student,
We know.
I did decent. I did all right, but I wasn't an A student. Were you an A student, Donnie?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
All A's, man. Stop playing. I brought home a 95. My father asked me where were the other 5 points.
I like that.
Hey, you think this guy was an A student? Were you an A student, Michael Haynie?
In full disclosure, I wasn't. I wasn't a B student either.
You were a C student?
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Honorable Mr. Danny. How you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm doing well, Mr. Mike Haynie. How you doing, sir? Always a pleasure to see you.
Fantastic, man. I was not a B student nor a C student. Barely a C student. I think when you look at grade average, this is full disclosure. At this stage in my life, I probably wouldn't have admitted it at 26 or 30, but at this stage, life has taught me to be an A student, and I think I am now. But I was a 2.3. I think I had a grade point average of like 2.3.
Damn, no wonder you was getting plucked. Didn't you tell me your daddy came up to school and plucked you?
Hey, he knocked the heck out of me, man. Then he made me go to the Bullet basketball game for Black Eye. The ultimate insult.
That's love.
Yeah, well, it was expressed all over my face.
I caught the ring finger one time, sitting at the table, running my mouth. My man had a backhand, Jack. Whack! Do-da-da-do-da-da, boom, 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 whack, whack, whack.
Yeah, my father was 6.
Yeah, but I didn't take school. I didn't take school seriously. When I look back on it, I did enough to get by. I did enough to get by. Everyone always talked about potential with me at PTA meetings because my mom always participated. Everyone talked about Mike's a smart guy. You heard all these words, right? The only thing that happened to me that doesn't happen necessarily out here now, I didn't become a victim of the streets, right? I stayed on the basketball courts because, laying in bed in a fatherless home, although father came home from Vietnam on that tour when he when he got me, because my mother was like, man, I'm tired of going up here with this prankster, man. I was a prankster in school to get me then, but I came from a fatherless home. So baseball, Little League Park up at Evanston Village, and the basketball courts, that was laying in bed with no air conditioning and sweat dripping off my face from the breeze at night, because we didn't have air conditioning back there. My dream was to be sports oriented. It wasn't about education. Now, my sister, Dr. Haynie, she came home one day crying because she got a B. She went to Western High School, never had gotten below an A in her life. One course in, I think, 10th or 11th grade, she got a B. And we thought the world had ended, right? And she subsequently went on to University of Pennsylvania, graduating in 3 years, graduated from MIT with a doctorate. The only Black to go through the biochemistry doctoral program at that time, invented the artificial vein. So she was the alter Mike Haynie. I think she took, my B potential, whatever. But yeah, education didn't become important to me. Yeah. She never got a whipping, man, but that was my role model, but education didn't become important to me until I saw the doors that it denied me at a certain point by not necessarily knowing. So I had to get up to speed. I had to get up to warp speed and absorb education at the point that it became important to me. And that was at the age of, say, 28, when I made the decision I wasn't going to drink or drug anymore, right? So I have a very powerful story to me. And to some people, it's important and relatable, and I share it at that instance, right? So at 28 years old, I made the decision not to drink and drug anymore. And to this day, I honored that commitment to myself. And so, it's amazing between the age of 18, high school, and 28 at that point in my life, what you really truly missed out on as a foundational piece. Because at that point, I had 2 children that needed my support, and backtracking was not necessarily an option when it comes to feeding them. And so I had to now all of a sudden juggle educational opportunities and taking care of a family, et cetera, and moving forward with a career. And fortunately, I was focused, and it has turned out okay for me. You know what I'm saying? It's turned out okay for me. At one point in my career, managing 800 employees, salary of $400,000. Life turned out okay for me, the grace of God. So mine came, as they used to say, ass backwards. You know what I'm saying? So
how's this governor doing, Michael Haynie?
You talking about Westmore?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's all in how you measure doing, right? So as it relates to me, it's been, great image. I love what the image projects and stands for, but when it comes to me and what it touches, rated to me, uneventful. It's been uneventful for me in terms of his touches on me, uneventful.
What about you, Danny?
It's like things are kind of slowed down to me with Governor Moore. There are some things that he's kind of not really addressing, especially with the juvenile justice and things in that regard. I just don't understand why we still have the person we have in charge of that, and it's a direct link to him. And our kids are not really being taken care of in that regard, so being held accountable. Something needs to be in place. I mean, it's just so much that needs to be done with that. And those are the things that I look at because it's been happening, been going on for some time now. So,
can I say something about the juvenile justice system? Can I say something? Because Danny, it is amazing you say that. I was sitting at 300 Gay Street last week, invited to go to a Thanksgiving fest to visit my grandson, who is part of the juvenile justice system, right?
Sorry to
And
hear
this
that,
is
Mike.
emotional for me, right?
Out of
And
state.
I'm sitting on the bench outside last Tuesday at 3:45, waiting for the 4 o'clock appointment, watching the atmosphere and environment there. First of all, I was
This is
amazed.
baby bookings.
Yeah, well, not baby bookings. This is baby holding. These folks are incarcerated. The booking means you're booked, waiting for a bail hearing, et cetera, et cetera. This is programmatic juvenile justice as it relates to detention, right? So I'm sitting there. I see secretary's picture on the wall as a,
Giraldi.
Oh my
and let me share
gosh.
my experience. It was very,
It's a little long, but it's almost
it
10
was
o'clock.
very clean in there. It was very clean. So my grandson at the age of 16 made a mistake. All it takes is one that the system will hold you accountable for. And I'm sitting there on that bench just last Tuesday, to your point. The place was clean. I was surprised at how I was treated, which was very good, very respectful. I was surprised. I was surprised at how thorough and how specific they were. And then I went inside to sit with him for this program and talk with him. And in the 9-10 months he's been in the system, the kid has changed. The principal of the school inside, that now he's 2 weeks possibly away from getting his high school diploma, whereas 9 months ago he was 2 years. Okay, intelligent kid, to what we mentioned I was, right? In terms of not thinking education. Intelligent kid, as everyone always told him, but he's 2 weeks away from the last courses needed to get his high school diploma at the age of 17, not 18, 17. The high school principal came over, introduced himself to me. The counselor had contacted me, weekly conferences, video conferences. So I'm saying to say, as I sat there about this white secretary of juvenile justice, I'm wondering if holding the line and us looking at how Black kids were treated at the height of our being upset at how Black kids were going through the justice system, is this part of the pain that we have to endure for change, meaning that some of the madness that the kid, is this part of the change to settle a system that has traditionally been unfair to Blacks that have been incarcerated at unfair numbers, comparatively speaking, to white? Because the experience I saw and the results so far for my grandson have been, I've been in awe. So I had to go back and examine exactly what the issue is with this secretary of the juvenile justice system to understand how it really is impacting our community, or what we're really doing is unpacking and going through the pain of enduring the years of injustice.
Did it take all of this for that to happen, for it to change like this? It appears.
Well, you know what? That's a good question, Danny. But I know that when we were complaining, protesting, talking about our young Black people being locked up by the tens and tens of thousands in the juvenile justice system, and you get a chance, by the way, go to Netflix and look at a Netflix documentary called Daughters. It's called Daughters. Came out this year about Black men in the justice system in Washington, D.C. over the past couple of years. They did a daughter dance, right? They allowed the young daughters of these Black men to come into the jail. They prepared for 8-10 weeks, prepared the guys, prepared the little girls. If it doesn't jerk your tears, okay, unbelievable. All Black men. The recidivism rate of these guys since they enacted this program, the recidivism rate is less than 5%. 5%. But please
Normally,
go look at this.
compared with 70% normally.
Please go look at this, Donnie. Please go look at this, Donnie's viewers. It's called Daughters. It's called Daughters. And so I've got to tell you, I have to re-examine all of what I hear out there now about what this white guy in his attempt to hold the line for mainly Black people and mainly Black men holding line to what he says data, quantifiable data, because he's been saying data. Data says this is the way we got to do it. Data says this is the way we got to do it. And then the legislation says, hey, these kids are out of control. We got to lock them up, do this, do that. Black legislature. And he's like, no, hold the line, hold the line. It will take, you're enduring the pain of that change with hope that in 4 or 5 years, it smooths out the system. And we know that that could be a possibility. You got an uptick to get to a point of normalcy based on decades of unfair treatment. And sometimes we got to go through pain. And maybe this is the pain we got to go through to achieve the results of decades of unfair treatment for Black people in the criminal justice system that takes fathers out of communities, which this documentary Daughters will show shatters our communities because fathers aren't there.
Pardon my insensitivity, but we've been going through pain. There's nothing that's been not painful about life in America for Black people.
Absolutely, Donnie. But with a plan.
And it goes straight back to slavery when you talk about mass incarceration. Slavery straight into the Black codes, where the police were even invented here in America. The police were invented as slave catchers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they have a history of incarceration. This country is 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the world's incarcerated persons. So I'm not buying that.
Well, I hear you, Donnie.
They like locking up Black people.
I hear you, Donnie.
You know, this Schiraldi comes along, you know, a kinder, gentler nation. Yeah. Let's put some resources in East Baltimore and West Baltimore. You put all the money down the harbor. The harbor died. So let's put the money where you should have put it in the beginning, uptown. Like we don't have a recreation center here in Sandtown. What the hell? Are you serious? The rec center used to save our lives. Mm-hmm. What rec did you go to?
I went to Rognell Heights Recreation Center, and mainly when I was coming up, you know, rec centers with little boxes with basketball courts, maybe a pool outside, and always a little league field. So rec centers were structured differently, and our rec was outside outdoors and be home before the lights come on.
Hey, Danny, what about you? Are we wasting your time, Danny? I see you a little distracted there.
No, not at all. What I was doing was just looking at some current stuff.
Okay.
But I went to a Northwood Rec Center. I was all part of the Northwood Rec Center off, you know, up there on Lock Raven and all of that area. So
I'm talking about in Brooklyn.
Well, in Brooklyn, I was, you know, I went to several rec centers back then. PS 19, something like that. It was so long ago. But you know,
what did you play? Did you play ping pong?
I played skillets, handball.
Did y'all have bumper pool?
We had no bumper pool, no.
How about you, Mike? What was your sport in the rec?
I played everything, man. I played everything to get out the house. I played basketball, football, baseball, tennis. I played everything, man. Everything. I had a small pool table inside my house. I had a bike. I had roller skates that I take a key and turn up on my fish head tennis shoes. When I left the house, when my mother left the house to go to work, I was out all day recreating.
What did they tell you about your bike when you went outside? What was the first thing they told you about your bike?
Don't get it stolen.
Do not give anybody a ride.
Well, all my boys had bikes, man. We all had the little bikes, man.
You were in Emerson Village.
Yeah. We all had bikes, man.
Well,
we would ride out.
I tell you, New York, man, they had guys. I mean, gangs coming around stealing our bikes, man. They would take our bikes. They always had a guy riding behind, riding with someone else and come up on us, man, and took my cousin's bike. And I mean, it was treacherous, man. It was treacherous.
Somebody stole my dad's bike out the backyard. We paid Kevin Motley $5, and the bike was back in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a racket.
I said a racket.
He knew what was going on.
Yeah, we had my mother her plants would get stolen, and it was always a cat from Sandtown. So she in her later years, didn't care for Sandtown too much. They would always come up to Easterwood Park and steal her flowers off the porch. And Lily loved her flowers.
Yeah, we were safeguarded a lot back in the day as much as possible. As Mr. Haynie said, my dad bought us a pool table in the basement to keep us out of the streets and stuff like that. And going out and making skateboards and had your skates and old church shoes you used, or as you said, I had fish heads. We couldn't afford Jack Purcells, so yeah. But that was a great time, though.
They called them church shoes slippery Earls.
Yeah,
slippery Earls. Did you go to church as a kid, Mike?
I had to walk. I went to the same church I go to today, man. My mother made sure every Sunday school started at 8:30, regular church started at 10:30. We had to walk a little over a mile, from Woodington Road, Evanston Village to 4711 Evanston Avenue, whether it was cold, whether it was rainy. Same thing to Rockland, which was beyond that. Rockland that I went to school, we had to walk, man. Have a
Woodington. Didn't Pierre live on Woodington?
I don't know. He's a young boy. I don't know
Pierre.
You're talking about Pierre? Yeah, I know Pierre. But he's a young kid. He's young as my oldest son. Different times, different flavor.
How old are you, Mike?
Yeah, he is.
How old are you?
66.
Oh, you're a young man. He's not that much younger than you. He's about 61, 62.
Well, when you get to our stage, it's amazing how a year makes a difference. A year can be 10 years in life terms at a certain point in life.
How about you, Danny? How old are you, Danny?
I'm Mr. Haynie and I were the same age.
Well, y'all look damn good for 66.
I appreciate that. I feel good. I feel like I'm 38.
I feel good too. I really do. But I am 66 for sure.
Yeah. Grace of God.
Baby boomers. Taught
on the streets of Baltimore, on the streets of New York, Chicago. Here's a question for you. How many years in prison did you do?
I can talk about a day or two, but I never did any years.
No, I've never been in prison.
Now,
I got
this
locked
is a
up
beautiful
not
thing.
having a
66.
driver's license on my possession. Not having a driver's license. Inauguration day, 1982.
So we have 200 years of black men on this show with 0 years of prison. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you know how many black men over 50 cannot say that in America?
Well, I got a theory on that, Donnie. You want to hear the theory?
My daddy said you got to survive the frisk.
Mm.
Come on with your theory, Professor.
So Daddy and I are baby boomers, as he said, during the 60s, when we were in the 70s, when we were recreating outside, our daddies were in Vietnam, etc. See, if you notice, the incarceration rate is lower during war, right? So you didn't find as many blacks locked up during the 60s and 70s because they needed them to go to Vietnam. Likewise, if you do a look at incarceration during wars is low with our Black people, right? Because they need us for war. Because incarceration is a form of free labor. And so that's why the word slavery is still in our Constitution, because slavery is how this country's economy got started. But we were raised during a time when our daddies, I don't know about Mr. Blunt's father, mine was in Vietnam. My cousins were in Vietnam that were older than me. My uncles served in the military. So incarceration was not an issue. So there was a different sort of role model. Now, when they came home addicted to heroin, et cetera, in the 70s, then you saw the incarceration rate and the murder rate in the cities go exponentially high in the early 80s, late 70s, which perpetuated through the crack epidemic in the late 80s into the 90s.
Exploded under the crack
epidemic. That's right.
Yeah,
that is exactly.
You can trace it all back to the end of the Vietnam War, as well as incarceration rates, and it didn't recede until the past couple of years.
That's correct.
Decades.
Yeah, because in our era, a lot of us who either you went in the military or you maybe the first generation that went to college and things like that. But when the drugs came in after the Vietnam War, as Mr. Haynie said, that's when things really changed dramatically. When they came home, they had got involved with the drug thing, and they also weren't treated fairly when they came back. So it was a lot of things going on mentally, with our parents, and a lot of them didn't ever get back to who they were before they left. They would change people when they came back.
Danny, who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher was Mr. Leonard. I always worked with my hands. I was in programs for electrical, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. He was one of my favorite teachers. My other favorite teachers was my science teacher. I love science as well.
Why?
That was Miss Craig. Just the idea of being able to find out how things were formed and made, the experiments they taught us and showed us in school. I got intrigued with stuff like that.
How about you, Mr. Haynie? Who was your favorite teacher?
A guy named Dave Loudon, who I just saw about 4 weeks ago for the first time since the 8th grade. He was my phys ed teacher. And the reason he was my favorite teacher, because my mom used him as that replacement dad, and he would take time to talk to me about my screw ups, etc. And I truly listened to him because I respected him. And I never forget one song he hummed from the Mills Brothers, because my mother truly wanted me to be better, truly not wanted me to be a problem. And he said, "You always hurt the one you love." That was a song by the Mills Brothers that he sang to me. And I understood, because I said I love my mother, and what he was trying to relate to me was how I was hurting her through my behavior, right? So I always remember that. So I always look at him as my favorite, most inspirational role model. And like I said, I just saw him for the first time since the 8th grade.
Wow.
4 weeks ago. We were in tears when we saw each other, because we both were instrumental in each other's life, have stayed in touch, but had not seen. I saw him out at Turner Station, man.
Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. Mr. Haynie, I came from Brooklyn to Turner Station. That's how I got to Turner Station, because things were so bad in New York. My cousins were involved in gangs, and several of them are still in jail. They've been in jail 40 years in Rikers Island and stuff like that. So going to Turner Station showed me a difference in life. You had waterfront property. You had the hardware store. You could sign out lawnmowers. You had people who cared about you. It was all Black. It just gave you a different outlook on life, and how, you can be somebody. You don't have to be part of your environment that you were born into and surrounded by. So it really helped me. Turner Station was wonderful lesson for me.
Michael Haynie,
I can imagine, man.
who has been the best president for Black people in your 66 years? Mr. Haynie?
Man, you stumped me because I don't know how to answer that question. The only thing that I keep recalling is a Bush who, by the power of example, who happened to be an Episcopalian as well, the second Bush, and the fact that he had at that time more Black administrators in his cabinet, Condoleezza Rice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that let me know that, first of all, a white person in that position could be amenable to having someone like me serve in a top level position. So when you say, I look at it as influential. Maybe I didn't like his policies, but at least I could see people that look like me in place in his cabinet. And so I look at it differently. And it's amazing. I didn't vote for him, but it seemed as though he appeared to be a fair person. And that's how I judge that question you just asked.
I know he could duck a flip-flop. Okay, how about you, Danny?
Well, on that note, it's like the Bushes. I mean, all that war. They put us in war, man.
A fake war.
War was all about money, Halliburton, all that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Heron too, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, it was very dangerous times. I think a couple that I can probably say. First, maybe John Kennedy, and then maybe Lyndon B. Johnson.
Damn, y'all just threw Barack straight under the damn bus, huh?
Barack did some stuff that really has caused us. We still suffering from Barack right now.
Damn, really?
He did some good things, but some of the things he did was change the whole lot of stuff, man. Same-sex marriage. Come on, y'all.
I know he took it over to Africa. They told him take it back.
Yeah, and look how things have changed so dramatically with that.
I don't care who you sleep with.
I don't either. But when you put a big stage like that, when you're trying to line things up biblically, how about that? Let's just start with that. Is that biblical?
You said you don't care who you sleep with?
I don't care who you sleep with. That's you.
Well, suppose your little 8-year-old son, your little 8-year-old grandson.
Except when you're sleeping with kids, man. That ain't sleeping. That's pedophile. That's criminal. That's mental illness. That's a puppy that need to be put away or castrated.
Definitely a price to pay for that.
You don't know what to do with yourself? All right. They got something for you in the Middle East. Let me tell you what else they got something for you in the Middle East for. You like stealing? You got sticky fingers? Chop, chop.
I don't know. I think we're a very conservative demographics and culture of people.
We don't know what the hell we believe.
So I got two white guys that adopt a little Black child, and to me, they sleeping together as husband and husband is confusing, right? It's confusing.
Damn right, it's confusing.
Okay, so I'm not supposed to care? Yeah, I care.
I do too.
You said you didn't care.
I don't care who you sleep with. We didn't talk about who you raise.
Okay. I don't distinguish between the two when it comes to adoptions and raising kids. And, I think that there are certain things inherently that confuse, particularly in our community, our young kids, man. I mean, that's one thing about this incoming president. We know how the Department of Ed is going to act in terms of, is there going to be a girl, boy, and other bathroom? No, they're not going for it.
To me, if you
is
got a
a
penis,
is
you
a
go in the men's room. You got a vagina, you go in the women's room. What's
yeah,
wrong
well,
with
you
that?
know,
If it's
well,
outside, you go in the men's. If it's inside, you go in the woman. Right.
yeah. Well, you know, that wasn't the way
But I
we
don't
were
want no
born.
man, somebody with a penis in the women's room.
Well, if you were born with one and decide to cut it off and open up a hole, they want to say that you should be able to swim with the girls or go to the girls' bathroom.
No, come on. You were born a male. You should not be competing against a naturally born female. Period.
Well,
End of story.
But
Period.
we know under the past 8 years that has the past 4 years that hasn't been the case. We know that much of that opened up during the Democratic.
And look, if you wanted to be a dude, you should have stayed a dude. But you cut your genitals off. That don't put you in a woman's case. You're not a woman in that regard. You cannot make a baby. Can they deliver a baby?
Hey, that's how we feel. But yet we made that part of the election issue of the Democratic Party, and we were bamboozled to support that.
You talked about the Bible and biblical. We need to stop playing with God.
That's true. 100%.
You're gonna catch the wrath.
And that's why we're going through what we're going through now. We're still catching the wrath of the decisions that have been made in our party, I believe. And
yeah, they're gone too damn far.
Yeah, way too far. Way too far.
When you say the party, are you talking about the Democratic Party?
The Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I thought I heard Danny say our.
In that regard. A lot of them.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're the party because we identify with them, just as Danny said, innately ours. That's the problem. We align ourselves not based on issues of value to our community. We align ourselves on issues of value to them that they're willing to give us, and then we become stuck.
They take black people for granted, and they can't wait till a damn election to start having hip hop concerts at the White House.
Oh my God.
You need to be serving black people anyway.
Black people take black people
loyal demographic, and black people get treated like a side piece. And I blame a lot of times our elected officials because they accept side piece payment.
You know, I was telling Doni,
you fall for anything. We just happen to fall for anything. That isn't their problem for taking advantage of our problem. You know.
Yeah. So
vote them out. Marion Barry say vote them out. When the bums don't represent you, vote them out. I don't care who they are. First black, first this, first that, and whomever, governor, mayor, president, vote them out.
Mm-hmm.
We're tired of the lip service, the window dressing. We need tangible resources here in Sandtown, over in East Baltimore. Tangible. Put all that money down the harbor. The gallery's dead. The Light Street Pavilion's dead. The Pratt Street Pavilion is dead. Damn Hooters can't even get a damn T-shirt up in there. But no rec in Sandtown. No recreation center in Sandtown. And my God, we need some streets paved in Baltimore, starting with Fulton Avenue. I mean, damn, what happened to the pothole crew? Jeez. I mean, do you not see the potholes, sir? Damn. Damn. Ain't know what Florida Avenue said? Damn. And man, your car sound like, damn.
Man, I'm telling you, man.
The pothole, you like, damn.
You in trouble.
Damn.
The streets in Baltimore are horrible. Horrible. I was just saying that yesterday driving, man. You know, it's
horrible. You know,
not them speed cameras in the black neighborhood. You come down Ricestown Road from Pikesville, not one damn speed camera. As soon as you get toward Mondawmin, speed cameras. Why they all up in the black neighborhood? Why don't you put it on Washington Boulevard?
Well, Donnie, unfortunately for Sandtown, Donnie, which would have been
it's racist and sexist, just like Trump.
Well, Sandtown would have benefited from the red line. I think the red line is done as it relates to what Baltimore had plans for, because Sandtown, Harlem Park, Lafayette Square, all of those communities 6 blocks off of the planned route for the red line. The red line's done. Okay,
Right.
so Sandtown's done. Lafayette Square, Harlem Park are done in terms of innovative integration plans where you don't continue to have pockets of poverty. And so the only thing we need to, as a state, ensure is that that bridge get rebuilt, and they're going to play around with that. But Wes is not, to your question initially, that red line, Wes's project to say that red line is going to get done.
It's not going to happen because we're in debt. We're in the red, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Hey, listen, it started with O'Malley. O'Malley kicked that can down the road a long time ago. They blamed it on Hogan for 8 years. O'Malley kicked that can down the road. Number two, it's hard. What Frederick Douglass say is easier to help a child than repair a broken adult. You're from New York, Danny. Baltimore has the dumbest subway in all of North America. They knocked down all of those houses on the freeway to nowhere highway, got rid of all of that black community there. See, we were doing just fine with segregation.
The whole country was doing fine with segregation until someone determined that we weren't. People are finally starting to believe that Brown versus Board of Education may have been detrimental to the black community, and we have
because a snake is a snake. It don't matter. See, it wasn't the law; it's the people. So no matter what the game is, the devil in this country is still going to try to manipulate it for their advantage. So whether it's 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock, it don't matter. The devil is still busy, but we got to stay vigilant. I got a question for you because I know, Michael, you go there every Sunday. What's up with the black church? Are our preachers on social media too damn much instead of pastoring? I mean, damn, they're on TV more than the housewives of the Potomac. Where is the church? I'm looking out here in the community. Now I didn't know PM was such a Trumpster, but where is the church? I see PM on Pennsylvania Avenue with his church. Where is the church? The COVID shut them down?
I think you've got some generational issues there. The J.L. Carters at ARC, the PM Smiths still do community pastoring, although they use technology to reach the masses. They believe that you have to be of the community, and I think that these younger, it's all about money. It's all about money. It's all about mega churches.
Hey Danny, hear your preacher, Danny.
Yeah, so it's changed.
Oh my!
What's this new thing?
Yeah.
What the hell are you kissing?
But I was looking at. I mean, it's just so much with the black church. I mean, you look at T.D. Jakes. You look at Jamal Bryant. These folks. I mean, it's just way too much. Way too much. What happened to the good old just Baptist church where you go in there and you?
Some people are not meant to be pastors.
Yes.
They're good at preaching, but maybe not pastoring, because a pastor is held to a higher standard, and you have to live a certain lifestyle. You can't have a track record of knocking off 3 ladies on the front row.
That's right.
Not a good look, preacher.
Mm-hmm. But then some folks like, Darn, how come he's doing so well? I mean, why is he over there at Eddie Long's church? Why is he? How did he get that position?
Why is he at a Diddy party?
So now he just got married again. He just got married to this woman. I tell you, it's just hard to kind of take some of that stuff serious. And it's like, what would a big mama say about church these days?
Wow.
Somebody prayed for me, had me on their mind. What was your favorite song, man? Did you go to Vacation Bible School, Michael? I got a song for you. I'm gonna take you back.
Yes, I did. I went to one in Evanston Village. Went to one and for 2 weeks in June. I remember specifically, and I didn't go to my church. I went to a Methodist church at the corner of Wildwood Parkway.
Bible school is high-minded. Bless my soul. I'm crazy about it. You know, my lady friend says I sing spirituals almost like they slave songs. I'm like them good old songs. Okay, come on, Leroy. It's about to get jiggy up in here. And you too, Pastor. I'm gonna put the come on with it. Look like we done touched. There you go, Leroy. Me, I just write. Have you looked into everything he's doing for the community down there?
So he's talking about Jamal Bryant.
We just asked the question, you know. Okay.
Well, Leroy will tell you he just had an event with his Remand group where Jamal Bryant was featured as the inspirational speaker. So there may be a relationship there that he has learned about Jamal, or that, you know, Jamal has reformed himself to a point where he has credibility with Leroy. So ask him about that as a basis and background of why he.
They don't mind if the church does not teach right, as long as the social is good and marriage prospects are in the pews. Well,
and then I think people forget
people go to church to find a mate.
Yeah, well, church is within each of us, man.
Yeah, so, you got to take the church into the world.
That's right. It's in each of us.
O'Banion, power to the people. Don't beat me up today, Mousse. Some of these churches are doing great work.
Okay.
Well, see, Leroy, now, let's be honest. Leroy live out Liberty Road. I don't know if you're talking about Baltimore City. Mousse calling a spade early in the morning. I knew Mousse was coming with the heat. I hope you brush your teeth, Leroy. Hey, Leroy. Just popping up here. We smell your breath now. All right.
Is he crying?
Oh,
hey, Leroy, what's going on? You're not crying, are you?
You're a fool, Doni. You're a straight fool without it. You're a straight fool.
You gargle.
I ain't messing with you this morning,
Ever been to a dentist who had bad breath?
Oh, no.
There's a dentist out Liberty Road, and he had bad breath. And I said to myself, how in the world can you have bad breath and you're a dentist?
Was his breath coming through his mask?
Sure, man. Okay, so you coming in defense of Jamal.
Well, it's not just him, because when I hear, and I'm sorry, brother, when I hear men make the statements about, well, that, you know, that it's too much, that these mega churches are too much. You know, I'm going to take up for them because I know the work that they do, and I look into the work that they do, and specifically Jamal Bryant. I know the work that he's doing down there because I follow him and I listen to him on a regular, but I also watch and know the work that he's doing down there. And I tell people this all the time, but I don't know if y'all want to listen or not. Everything that he's doing down there, he wanted to do here in Baltimore. And the powers that be, or whatever you want to have it, weren't having it. He is down there. Let's talk about it. He said this one time too. He can go viral about him having ice cream with now his wife, but won't go you won't go viral about talking about the things that he's doing down there. Do you talk about the mini homes that he's building on the land down there? Do you talk about the millions of homes that he's impacted down there? The work that he's doing to be able to get men out of prison, pay child support so that they stay out of prison. Let's talk about those things, the work that he's doing. He can't do that if he, you know, we can only have the bandwidth and the capacity to be able to do certain things. He has the capacity now to do more, and he's doing more. So let's talk about.
I don't think anybody said anything about that.
Say that again?
I don't think anybody said what he wasn't doing.
But that's the point. We're not talking about what he's doing. You made the statement that these churches, the mega churches, is just they're doing too much. Correct?
No, I didn't say
That's
that.
what.
No,
So
I
okay, so I
think
did.
what happened. I think what happened, Leroy. And good to see you, Dr. McKenzie. Always a
Yes, sir. Yes,
pleasure.
sir.
I think what it goes to is credibility, right? So you focus on the message and not the messenger. I think that Jamal's geographical cure for himself and leaving Baltimore with the credibility issues that he had, right? He
Correct.
had
Correct.
documentable credibility issues in Baltimore. That, yeah, so he does good. So what makes him any different than Donald Trump with credibility issues? That he doesn't get a shot either. So our leaders are either going to be leaders, T.D. Jakes, same thing, Eddie Long, same thing. So what becomes the focus, as Donnie had mentioned before he ran out of here, right? Of credibility as a image of our pastors, man. Credibility, are they pastoring or are they pastoring to the masses for money? You know, we know that Jamal has a good package down there in Atlanta. We know that he spoke at your conference a month ago, right? And so you may have helped him rehabilitate his credibility, you know, but most horses don't change colors.
Right, and also too, and I get it. The credibility, that's huge. That really is. All of the things. Let's not act like.
I think God just shut your mic down there for a second. Dr. McKenzie, I think God shut your mic down. We can't hear
We
you,
can't
man.
hear you.
God said
Yep, you're right.
I
something.
got issues with that as well too. But I also talk about the good things that they do, the positive things that they do in and for the community. So you gotta, if we're gonna talk about one end of it, let's talk about the other end of it as well. That's all I'm saying about that. And truth be told too, when he went down there, and I don't know if you all are aware of this, that church had $32 million in debt. He cut that in the 5 years he's been there. I believe it is I think it's 6 years, maybe 6 years now. He has cut that debt down to $14 million.
That's Eddie Long's former church, right?
That's
Yeah.
a
Yes.
business act.
Yeah, so that maybe that
That's
church needs to rename itself. Maybe they need to rename themselves Church of the Redeemer, because the past couple of preachers there, their credibility, sleeping
That's
with
right.
little boys, sleeping with women.
You're right.
Hey, listen, man. Eddie Long and Jamal Bryant have serious credibility issues, and they should not be preachers.
But you could take any of us and say that, hey, here the negative things that we do. That's what we do as a society. All we do is focus on the negative versus those positive things.
Hey, Leroy. Hey, Leroy. Hey, Leroy.
Any of the things that we do.
Hey, Leroy.
But I think our emphasis has to be.
Leroy.
I think he's muted us all.
Yeah,
our emphasis has to be on the positive aspects of life and the
He
things
just
that
took
we
over your show, Donnie.
you did.
Have we got caught up in prosperity theology?
Wow.
Man,
Did
I
you
tell
say
you.
prostitute theology? What did you say?
Prosperity theology. Can you hear us, Leroy? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I might have, I don't know if it's my.
Yeah, we
The
couldn't
devil
hear
has
you at all.
hijacked your system, brother. Have we got caught
Hey,
up
Donnie,
in prosperity?
I gotta catch a meeting with my people, man.
Okay.
I've got to show it. First of all, it's good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to each of you. I've got at 10 on 10:10 at 11 o'clock. I'm filling
It
in
wasn't
for
happy for the
Lou
Indians.
Fields.
It wasn't happy for the Indians.
Yeah.
We need to get politically correct about it. They came
Okay,
over here, the
happy
Pilgrims had
Thanksgiving.
on the buckle shoes, and the Indians fed them, and the next thing you know, the Indians got smallpox and they took their land.
Slaughtered them.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good morning, world.
Thank you,
I
Donnie.
love you all.
Love you all too.
We had to get Jamal on here, let him defend himself because Leroy failed. Okay. Tried. Damn sure tried.